Hey everyone, and welcome back to the deep dive. You guys send us some really interesting stuff, and this time is no different.
Oh, yeah.
We got a new video update on Tesla's Optimus robot, for articles,
Yeah.
even your own notes. And we're going to take a deep dive into all of it today.
Sounds fun.
You've been following this story, I know, but what makes it so exciting right now is how quickly Tesla is moving compared to those, traditional robotics companies that have been around forever.
Right. Those companies have been around for decades.
We've got some seriously cool details to uncover, like how Optimus charges itself.
Oh,
Not what you'd think coming from Tesla.
okay.
And its finger strength. I mean, it might just change the way we think about robots interacting with the world.
Ready to jump in? Absolutely. You know what's interesting about Tesla's approach is how they're applying their expertise from electric vehicles to the world of robotics. It's almost like they're building robots with Tesla parts, using those existing technologies and their manufacturing know-how to streamline production in a way that's totally different from those traditional robotics companies.
Exactly. And remember when Optimus first came out?
I
I
do.
all had a laugh about that walk.
Yeah.
How it kind of resembled, well, a certain U.S. president.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Not exactly graceful.
Not very graceful, no.
But Tesla clearly listened to that feedback.
They did.
They've been focusing on improving both its speed and the dexterity of its hands.
It's fascinating because Milan Kovac, Tesla's VP of the Optimus division, said that those two areas, speed and hand dexterity, are taking up about half of the entire development effort for the project.
Wow, that really shows where their priorities are. And you can see the results. The first generation of Optimus was moving at a pretty slow 1.3 miles per hour, but Gen 2 is estimated to be hitting speeds of 2 to 2.5 miles per hour. That's almost twice as fast in just about a year.
That's a huge improvement.
But it's not just about moving quickly, is it? They're also putting Tesla's full self-driving technology, the FSD, right into Optimus.
That's a really important point. It's what allows Optimus to navigate new places on its own safely and independently. We even saw it going up some stairs in that latest video you sent.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe not a huge deal on its own, but again, it shows how fast they're developing and adapting this technology for a totally different kind of machine.
Okay, now here's where it gets really interesting. Even a little unexpected, the self-charging.
Okay.
You'd probably picture Optimus plugging in like a Tesla car, right?
Given Tesla's background in electric vehicles, that would be the natural assumption.
But nope. Optimus actually hooks itself up to a charger mounted on the wall all on its own. It's kind of like the self-charging feature we're expecting on the Cybertruck, but for a robot. The charging port is on Optimus's back, and it's designed in this unique way that lets it rest while it's charging.
It's a pretty novel approach compared to the usual way robots are charged, plugging them in or using wireless charging. Tesla seems to be innovating even in the way these robots power up.
Now let's talk about strength. We saw Optimus lifting a 25-pound battery tray loaded with those 4,680 batteries that Tesla uses. No problem for Optimus.
No problem at all.
But what really got me was how it did it, just using its fingertips to grip the tray.
That's significant because it shows off more than just strong fingers. We're also seeing shoulder stability and amazing control of its wrist torque. It really suggests that Optimus is capable of lifting much more than we've seen so far. Tesla officially says 25 pounds, but I think it can probably handle a lot more weight.
Speaking of lifting capacity, there's apparently this whole thing in the robotics industry about a 50-pound limit, something to do with worker safety regulations.
Interesting.
But Optimus could totally break through that limitation, which opens up a whole new world of possibilities, right?
Absolutely. Think about the potential in industries where heavy lifting is a major challenge. Optimus could be a game changer.
Now, after that AI Day event where we saw Optimus doing things like serving snacks and pouring water, there were some rumors floating around.
Oh, yeah. What were those?
People were saying it had to be pre-programmed or even remotely controlled. What did you think about that?
Yes, there was a lot of speculation about just how much human assistance was involved in those demonstrations.
Right. But then Milan Kovacs, the Optimus VP, cleared things up in a post online. He said that while there was some support from humans behind the scenes, the robots were actually working on their own for hours, moving around and interacting with people. And that recent video you shared really reinforces that. We see Optimus serving snacks and drinks, and it looks completely autonomous. The dexterity is improving all the time.
It seems like Tesla is making a conscious effort to show us that the robots are becoming more independent and capable of doing real-world tasks.
And that brings us to the bigger picture, Elon Musk's vision for Optimus. This guy is always thinking big. Do you remember that debate he had with Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba?
I do.
They were going back and forth about whether AI would ever become smarter than humans.
It was a really interesting conversation that highlighted two very different perspectives on what the future holds for AI.
Musk was totally on the side of AI eventually becoming dominant. He even said that Optimus could be more dangerous than nuclear weapons. It's a pretty wild statement, isn't it?
It's definitely a provocative thing to say, and it brings up some serious concerns about the potential risks of very advanced AI.
But I think that's part of why he's so determined to develop Optimus. He wants to be at the forefront, making sure that AI development happens responsibly.
It's a fascinating ethical dilemma, isn't it? Musk seems to believe that to really minimize the risks of AI, we need to be actively involved in its development, guiding it in a positive direction.
And the potential applications for Optimus are just mind-blowing.
Yeah.
We're talking about everything from everyday chores around the house, things like picking up packages, watering plants, even cleaning.
To more complex interactions like helping family members, opening car trunks, carrying things around.
Right.
Maybe even babysitting or walking the dog someday.
We even saw Optimus serving drinks at that AI Day event. Imagine it as a waiter working in a restaurant or even as a companion that can chat with you and understand what you're saying.
The possibilities are vast.
They are.
But it also makes you wonder how this kind of technology will change the fabric of our society, our ideas about work and leisure. It's a lot to consider.
Okay, let's talk about production and how much this thing might cost. Tesla wants to start making Optimus robots by the end of 2025.
Okay.
Analysts are saying that production costs could drop by 15 to 20% every year.
Though it's likely closer to 40%, which means a humanoid robot could end up costing anywhere from $30,000 to $150,000.
Do you remember when Musk said Optimus would be around $20,000? Seems like that might still be possible, but maybe for a more basic version. There could be different generations of Optimus, each with different features and price points.
That would be a really smart way to go, letting Tesla target different markets with robots designed for specific needs and budgets.
And here's the really interesting part. Tesla has a big advantage because they can use a lot of their existing EV technology in Optimus. Things like the 4680 batteries, the FSD chips, even the drive systems. It's like they're building robots out of Tesla parts. No wonder they can keep the cost down.
It's a brilliant example of how different parts of a company can work together. Tesla's expertise in electric vehicles translates directly to robotics, giving them a head start in terms of cost and production efficiency. It's a smart move.
Okay, let's recap all the awesome stuff we've seen in this latest Optimus update. Better movement, navigating stairs, exploring and mapping out new places on its own, self-charging, stronger and more dexterous, and better at interacting with humans.
Wow.
It's a lot to take in.
It's remarkable how far they've come in such a short time. There's still a lot of work to do, but it's clear that Optimus is rapidly moving toward being a functional and potentially game-changing technology.
You know, it really does feel like we're on the verge of a robotics revolution. Optimus isn't just a cool tech demo anymore. It's becoming a real practical solution, not just in manufacturing, but maybe even in our everyday lives. What do you think?
We're seeing this incredible convergence of advancements in artificial intelligence, robotics, and manufacturing, and Tesla's unique position at the center of all three is allowing them to really push the limits of what's possible. It's a fascinating time to be watching this all unfold. It's a question worth pondering. We're entering uncharted territory, and it's up to us to make sure robotics develops in a responsible way.
It's definitely a lot to think about.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit and dig into some of the technical details that you flagged in your notes.
Okay.
One thing that stood out to me was Tesla's use of those 4680 battery cells in Optimus.
Right.
Can you tell us a little more about those and why they're important?
Absolutely. The 4680 battery cells are a big deal for Tesla's overall strategy. They're bigger and more energy dense than the batteries they used before, which means they can store more power in the same amount of space. This is crucial for electric vehicles, of course, but it's also a huge advantage for Optimus.
So these bigger batteries mean Optimus can run for longer without needing to recharge.
Exactly. And they also contribute to Tesla's ability to produce Optimus more cost-effectively. Remember we talked about Tesla using its EV experience in robotics? Well, the 4680 cells are a prime example of that. They're already being produced at scale for Tesla's cars, which means they can leverage that existing manufacturing capacity for Optimus as well.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like a domino effect. advancements in one area, like battery technology, end up benefiting other areas as well. It's interesting how these things are all connected.
Absolutely. And it highlights Tesla's strategic approach. They're not just developing individual technologies in isolation, they're building an ecosystem where those technologies can reinforce and benefit each other.
Okay, so we talked about the batteries, but there's another key piece of Tesla tech that's being integrated into Optimus,
Hmm.
the full self-driving system, or FSD. We touched on it earlier when we were discussing Optimus navigating on its own. But I'm curious to know more about how exactly FSD works in a robot, especially compared to a car.
That's a great question. On a basic level, FSD in Optimus relies on the same principles as it does in Tesla's vehicles. It uses camera sensors and a powerful onboard computer to perceive its surroundings, make decisions, and navigate safely. But adapting FSD for a humanoid robot presents unique challenges.
Like what? What are some of the differences between FSD for a car and FSD for a robot like Optimus?
Well, think about it. A car moves on a relatively predictable plain roads, highways, parking lots. But Optimus needs to navigate much more complex and varied environments. It has to walk on different surfaces, avoid obstacles of all shapes and sizes, maybe even interact with objects and people in close proximity.
That makes sense. So the FSD system in Optimus needs to be even more sophisticated, more adaptable than the system in Tesla's cars.
Precisely. It needs to handle a wider range of situations, make more nuanced judgments, and react more quickly to unexpected changes in its surroundings. We're still in the early stages of seeing how Tesla is adapting FSD for this new application, but it's clearly a major focus for them.
And it's not just about navigation, right? I remember seeing something about Optimus being able to recognize objects, like knowing the difference between a cup and a plate. Is that part of the FSD system as well?
Yes, object recognition is a crucial component of FSD, both for cars and for robots. In Optimus, it allows the robot to not only identify objects, but also understand their properties and potential uses. For example, Optimus might be able to recognize a cup, determine whether it's full or empty, and even figure out how to pick it up without spilling.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. So FSD isn't just about getting from point A to point B. It's about understanding the world around you and interacting with it intelligently.
Exactly. And that's what makes this technology so fascinating and potentially transformative. We're seeing the beginnings of robots that can not only perform physical tasks, but also understand and respond to their environment in ways that were previously unimaginable.
It's really starting to feel like science fiction is becoming reality. Okay, let's switch gears again and talk about something else that you mentioned in your notes, those rumors about human assistance during the AI Day demos. You said that Milan Kovac addressed those rumors directly.
He did.
Can you remind us what he said and what that means for how we interpret those demonstrations?
Sure. After the AI Day event, there was a lot of online discussion questioning whether Optimus was truly autonomous during the demonstrations.
Right.
Some people suggested that the robots might have been pre-programmed or remotely controlled to perform specific tasks.
I remember that.
In response to those concerns, Milan Kovac posted a message clarifying that while there was some human support behind the scenes, the robots were operating autonomously for extended periods, moving around and interacting with people without direct human intervention.
So they weren't just following a pre-programmed script, they were actually making decisions and reacting to their surroundings in real time.
That's what Kovac's statement suggests. He emphasized that the robots were capable of independent operation even in a dynamic and unpredictable environment like the AI Day stage. Of course, there's always a degree of uncertainty when interpreting these types of demonstrations, but Kovac's statement provides valuable insight into the level of autonomy that Tesla is claiming for Optimus.
Right, and we have to remember that this is still a work in progress.
Yeah.
It's not surprising that there would be some level of human oversight or intervention, especially in a public demonstration.
Sure.
But the fact that they were able to showcase Optimus operating autonomously for even a short period is pretty impressive.
It is.
And those recent videos you sent, Optimus serving snacks and drinks, seem to support that idea of increasing autonomy.
Absolutely. The videos offer a glimpse into the progress Tesla is making in developing Optimus's ability to perform real-world tasks with a degree of independence. The robots are moving more fluidly, their interactions with objects seem smoother, and they appear to be navigating their surroundings with greater confidence. While there's still a long way to go, it's clear that Tesla is making significant strides toward its goal of creating a truly capable and autonomous humanoid robot.
You know, when we first started talking about Optimus, it was easy to dismiss it as a futuristic fantasy. But seeing these videos and hearing the technical details you've highlighted, it's becoming harder and harder to deny that this could be a truly revolutionary technology.
I agree.
The potential implications are huge. But before we get too carried away, I think it's important to ground ourselves in what we know for sure and what remains to be seen.
I agree. It's easy to get caught up in the hype, but it's crucial to maintain a balanced perspective. We've seen remarkable progress, but there are still significant technical and logistical hurdles to overcome before Optimus becomes a widely adopted and impactful technology.
Right. So let's break it down. What are some of the key challenges that Tesla still needs to address as Optimus development continues?
One of the biggest challenges is refining the artificial intelligence that underpins Optimus's capabilities. We've seen impressive advancements in areas like object recognition and navigation, but there's still a lot of work to be done in developing AI that can truly understand and respond to the complexities of the real world.
I see. So it's not just about building a robot that can move and manipulate objects. It's about developing AI that's smart enough to understand what those objects are, how they can be used, and how to interact with them safely and effectively.
Exactly. And that's a monumental task. The real world is messy and unpredictable, full of nuances and unexpected situations that even the most advanced AI struggles to comprehend. Tesla will need to make significant breakthroughs in AI research and development to create an Optimus that can truly function autonomously in a complex and ever-changing environment.
That's fascinating. So even with all the impressive hardware, the batteries, the motors, the sensors, the real key to Optimus's success lies in the software, in the AI, that makes it all work together seamlessly. It's like the brain behind the brawn.
Precisely, and that's what sets Optimus apart from traditional robots, which are typically programmed to perform specific repetitive tasks. Tesla is aiming to create a robot that can learn, adapt, and solve problems on its own, making it far more versatile and potentially much more impactful.
It's almost like they're trying to build a machine that can think for itself, isn't it?
In a way, yes. And that brings up another major challenge, ensuring that Optimus's AI is developed responsibly and ethically. As we discussed earlier, there are legitimate concerns about the potential risks of advanced AI, and it's crucial that Tesla takes those concerns seriously as it continues to develop Optimus.
Right. It's not just about building a cool robot. It's about making sure that that robot is safe, beneficial, and aligned with human values.
Exactly. Tesla has a responsibility to ensure that Optimus is developed and deployed in a way that benefits humanity as a whole, not just a select few. And that requires careful consideration of ethical implications, potential biases, and long-term consequences. It's a complex and challenging task, but it's absolutely essential for the future of robotics.
Okay, so we've talked about the technical challenges and the ethical considerations. But there's another factor that often gets overlooked when discussing new technologies like Optimus cost. We touched on this earlier, mentioning the potential price range for a humanoid robot.
Right.
But let's delve a little deeper into the economics of Optimus. How does Tesla plan to make this technology affordable and accessible to a wide range of users?
That's a key question. Right now, humanoid robots are largely confined to research labs and specialized industrial applications because they're simply too expensive for most people or businesses to afford. But Tesla has stated its ambition to make Optimus a mass-market product, and that means bringing the cost down significantly.
Do you think that's even possible? I mean, we're talking about cutting-edge robotics, advanced AI, high-performance batteries, all packed into a humanoid form factor?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound cheap.
You're absolutely right. It's an ambitious goal, but Tesla has a few things working in its favor.
Oh, yeah.
First, as we discussed earlier, they're leveraging their existing manufacturing infrastructure and supply chains from their electric vehicle business.
Oh.
This allows them to achieve economies of scale and reduce production costs.
So they're basically using their expertise in building cars to build robots more efficiently and affordably.
Exactly. Second, Tesla is known for its vertical integration, meaning they control a large portion of the production process, from battery cell manufacturing to software development. This gives them more control over costs and allows them to optimize production for efficiency.
That makes sense. By cutting out the middleman and doing more in-house, they can potentially save a lot of money. But even with those advantages, it's still hard to imagine a sophisticated humanoid robot like Optimus being affordable for the average person anytime soon, isn't it?
It's definitely a challenge. But Tesla has a history of disrupting established industries and bringing down costs through technological innovation and aggressive pricing strategies. Remember, they've done it with electric vehicles, and they may be aiming to do the same with robotics.
It's interesting to think about how they might approach the pricing of Optimus. Do you think they'll offer different versions like they do with their cars, with varying levels of features and capabilities at different price points?
That's certainly a possibility. They could have a base model with more basic functionality at a lower price point, and then offer higher end versions with more advanced capabilities like increased dexterity, more sophisticated AI, or even specialized skills tailored to specific tasks.
That would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it?
It would.
It would allow them to target different market segments with robots that meet specific needs and budgets. It would also give them flexibility in pricing as production costs come down over time.
Exactly. And it's worth remembering that the cost of technology tends to decrease as production scales up and innovation drives down component prices. So while Optimus may seem prohibitively expensive today, it's possible that it could become more affordable in the future as Tesla continues to refine its manufacturing processes and drive down costs.
That's encouraging to hear. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. Technical challenges, ethical considerations, cost factors, and the potential for Optimus to disrupt multiple industries. But there's one aspect we haven't discussed yet that I think is particularly intriguing: the social and cultural impact of humanoid robots.
That's a fascinating area to explore. The introduction of humanoid robots into our homes, workplaces, and communities has the potential to reshape our social interactions, redefine our relationship with technology, and even challenge our understanding of what it means to be human.
I know. It's almost mind-boggling to think about. I mean, we've all seen robots in movies and TV shows, but the idea of them actually becoming a part of our everyday lives is a whole different story.
It is. And it raises so many questions. How will we interact with these robots? Will we treat them as tools, as assistants, or even as companions? How will their presence impact our jobs, our relationships, and our sense of self?
These are big questions, and I don't think anyone has all the answers yet. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Based on what we know about Optimus so far, what do you think are some of the most significant potential social and cultural impacts we might see if these robots become widespread?
That's a great question. One potential impact is a shift in the nature of work. Optimus could automate many tasks that are currently performed by humans, potentially leading to job displacement in some sectors.
That's a concern that comes up a lot when people talk about automation and AI. Do you think we'll see mass unemployment as a result of robots like Optimus?
It's difficult to predict with certainty, but it's likely that some jobs will be displaced. However, it's also important to remember that new technologies often create new jobs as well. The introduction of Optimus could lead to the emergence of new industries and occupations that we can't even imagine yet.
That's a good point. It's not just about jobs disappearing, it's also about new opportunities emerging.
Exactly. And it's important to focus on retraining and upskilling the workforce to prepare them for the jobs of the future. Beyond the impact on work, Optimus could also change the way we interact with technology. We're already accustomed to interacting with machines through screens and voice assistants, but Optimus introduces the possibility of more embodied and intuitive interactions.
That's an interesting thought. So instead of just talking to a smart speaker or typing on a keyboard, we might be able to have more natural face-to-face interactions with robots that can understand our gestures, our expressions, even our emotions.
Potentially, yes. And that could change the way we think about technology as a whole. Instead of viewing machines as cold and impersonal, we might start to see them as more human-like, even as companions or collaborators.
It's both exciting and a little unsettling, isn't it? I mean, the idea of forming relationships with robots is something we've seen in science fiction.
Yeah,
But to think that it could actually become a reality is pretty mind-blowing.
it is. And it raises questions about the nature of relationships, the boundaries between humans and machines, and even our own sense of identity. If we start forming bonds with robots, what does that say about our own humanity?
These are deep philosophical questions that we'll need to grapple with as humanoid robots like Optimus become more sophisticated and more integrated into our lives. It's a whole new frontier, and it's both exciting and daunting to think about the possibilities.
I agree. We're at a pivotal moment in history, and the choices we make today about how we develop and deploy artificial intelligence and robotics will have profound implications for the future of our species. It's up to us to ensure that these technologies are used for good and that they contribute to a better future for all.
Well said. And with that thought-provoking statement, I think it's time for us to take a break.
Yeah.
But don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll continue our deep dive into Optimus, exploring the latest advancements, the potential challenges, and what it all means for the future of robotics and humanity. Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been exploring this incredible world of Tesla's Optimus robot, from its impressive capabilities to the potential societal shifts it could bring. Before the break, we were discussing the philosophical questions Optimus raises, questions about our relationship with technology, the nature of work, even what it means to be human.
It's a lot to ponder.
It's a lot to ponder.
And it's important to remember that we're not just talking about some far-off science fiction scenario. Tesla's actively working to make Optimus a reality, and they're making significant progress. We've seen the demonstrations, we've heard from their engineers, and we've analyzed the technical details. This isn't just hype. This is a real technology with the potential to fundamentally change the world as we know it.
It's incredible to think about, isn't it? Just a few years ago, the idea of a humanoid robot capable of performing complex tasks and interacting with humans in a, you know, meaningful way seemed like a distant dream. But now it's becoming increasingly clear that this dream is on the verge of becoming a reality. And that realization brings with it, I think, a mix of excitement and apprehension.
I understand that feeling. There's a sense of awe and wonder at what human ingenuity can achieve, but also a sense of unease about the potential consequences, both intended and unintended. We're venturing into uncharted territory, and it's natural to feel a mix of emotions.
Absolutely. But I think it's important to approach this new frontier with both curiosity and caution. We need to be mindful of the potential risks, but also open to the possibilities. After all, new technologies often bring challenges, but they also have the potential to solve problems, improve lives, and create a better future.
I couldn't agree more. It's a delicate balance, and it requires thoughtful consideration, open dialogue, and a willingness to adapt as we learn more about the capabilities and implications of this technology.
Mm,
We need to engage in constructive conversations about how we want to shape the future of robotics, ensuring that it aligns with our values and serves the best interests of humanity.
well said. And I think that's a perfect note to end on. We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into Tesla's Optimus robot. We've explored its remarkable capabilities, the technical innovations driving its development, the potential economic and societal impacts, and the philosophical questions it raises about our relationship with technology and our place in the world.
It's been a fascinating exploration, and I hope our listeners have found it insightful and thought-provoking.
Me too. And remember, this is just the beginning of the story. As Tesla continues to develop Optimus, we can expect to see even more impressive advancements, unexpected challenges, and thought-provoking discussions about the role of robots in our lives.
It's an exciting time to be following this field, and I encourage our listeners to stay informed, engage in the conversation, and help shape the future of robotics in a responsible and beneficial way.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Tesla's Optimus robot. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.